One of the biggest mistakes people make is wanting money first before the action and saying things like, if I could only have a pay raise, if I could just be debt free or have a large sum of money, then everything would be fine. And this causes many people to get stuck. So if you're doing this, stop that, by the way. In this video, we are going beyond the money we get from a paycheck, and we are learning how to attract money. Greetings, everyone. My name is Jeremy Dancer, and I use my channel to share strategies with the law of attraction and help people manifest their dreams and achieve their goals, as well as people who want to trade Forex and crypto. One of the things that we learned about taking action is that it isn't always work. Most of the time, it's vibrational. But the action must come first. Since your point of attraction is based on how you feel, the actions you take must be in alignment with what you want to attract. So if money is what you want to attract, how do you attract it if that's lacking in your life? In other words, how do you have that feeling of someone who has money? If love is what you want to attract, and that's the one thing that is lacking in your life, how do you attract someone who wants to love you as well as someone you also want to love? Many times we underestimate the small things we can do to increase our vibration and attract the big things that we want. What I'm going to do now is share some easy things you can do now to improve your attraction. Number one, starting with money. When it comes to problems with money, understand that this is most likely a deep problem with a paradigm working against you. One exercise you can do is think back as far as you can to every situation where you had a problem with money and then see how that situation was solved. Once you do that, go to the next time you had problems with money and also see how that was solved. What you will notice is that there was a pattern for each time you got into a problem with money, and there was also a pattern for every time that problem was solved. So if you are currently facing a problem with money, now you already know how things are going to play out and can fast forward to the solution. More importantly, you can live your life moving forward with a conscious awareness from a money-making position and start thriving. Um, for my example, when it comes to money, I'll share my story with when I first moved to Georgia. So when I first moved to Georgia back in January of 2014, um, I just did it on a whim. My girlfriend and I at the time, we were thinking of places that we could move to. We were living in Arizona, and we really weren't happy with Arizona. She ended up in Arizona because of friends she had met when she was in college back in Virginia. And I ended up in Arizona because my mom had moved to Arizona from California because the cost of living was just getting too high in California. So that's how I found myself in Arizona. So one day, her and I were just thinking about, you know what, we're both not happy here. We had a son who was like 5 years old, and we were just thinking, okay, you know what, we got to do something because, neither one of us were happy. So we looked at a map, we went through all the states, and we looked up the pros and cons for each state. And it turned out that Georgia had everything that we were looking for. So we just decided, you know what, after I had completed an open enrollment period, I would have enough money for us to make the move. And we honestly thought it was going to be a very easy transition. We thought when we get to Georgia, I would, find a job, find an apartment, and everything was going to be super easy. So we get to Georgia, and then we find out that it was not going to be nearly as easy as we thought. Fortunately for us, it turned out that my girlfriend had an aunt who lived in Georgia, and she welcomed us into her home, and she said that we could stay there, as much time as we needed, until we were able to figure things out. So, month after month went by, and I mean, I was applying for jobs all over the place, and nothing was panning out. I remember going into a Great Depression over this because I was just so devastated. Like we already moved cross country, and we had no idea what we were going to do. So one night, so one night my girlfriend's aunt, she comes down and she says, "Hey, you know what? I got bad news for you guys. Um, my mom just passed away, and unfortunately, you guys can't stay here. I have to go to Alabama and do some funeral arrangements, and it's just not gonna, I'm just not comfortable with you guys just being here." So we were like, oh my God. Because at this point, we were getting down to our last $500, and we had no idea what we were going to do or where we were going to stay. So I still had at that time three jobs that I applied for, and I was hoping that one of them was going to pan out. I did interviews for those three jobs, and then it was just the waiting game, and we had to make a decision. Do we either, call one of our parents and move into their home, or do we, find like an extended stay or something and take the chance to see if I can get one of these jobs? So we had faith that one of those jobs was going to work out, and we decided to get an extended stay, and we were down to like a few $100s. I think the extended stay was like $100 a week. So, that was enough, for like 3 or 4 weeks for us to barely make it. Fortunately, I got a call from Kaiser Permanente, and they offered me a position, and we were just so relieved because, that really worked out for us in the nick of time. I mean, we were down to dollars, especially since I had to wait like 2 or 3 weeks before my first paycheck. So then, I had a job come in, things seemed like they were working. And then the next hurdle we had was, okay, now we need to find an apartment. Because my credit, was pretty bad at the time. Um, that really made things difficult because we kept getting denied. I wasn't really making enough income at the time. So, there were quite a few challenges on that end. And it was getting pretty depressing because I'm telling you, we probably looked at like 100 different places, and just nothing was working out. So we're driving down this road, and we see these, beautiful townhouses. And we're like, oh man, these would be perfect if we can get in. So I don't know why, but it just felt perfect. We went in, I filled out an application. Then the person who gave me the application was one of the maintenance people. He let me look at one of the vacant townhomes as well, just to see if it was going to be a good fit. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. And we just got lucky, I think, because they didn't run my credit report, and it just worked out perfectly. And we were able to move into those townhomes, and they were way better than the other places we were looking at. And they were also cheaper as well. So that's kind of how I ended up in Georgia. And one of the things it made me do, well, recently, when I made this video actually, was it made me reflect back on all the times that I had problems with money. And what I learned was that there is a pattern. So when it comes to issues with money, you're going to notice that every time you have a problem with money, there's a pattern to every one of those times. Every time that problem is solved, there is also a pattern for those solutions as well. So if you struggle with money, take some time to look back at all the times you had problems with money and look for those patterns and also look for those patterns for solutions. For me, what I learned was my pattern of financial problems always happened to me when I wanted to make moves. So if I wanted to level up in my life, if I wanted to start a business, if I wanted to start a new career, that's always when, for whatever reason, things just didn't work out the way I thought they should. And then the pattern for solutions for me came when I just gave up looking for solutions. When I felt like, you know what, I have no idea what to do. And I just stopped looking for solutions. I just stopped trying. For whatever reason, that's what it took for me to finally have a breakthrough moment to solving those problems. So, that right there is my process when it comes to money problems. Look for those patterns, how they start, look for those solutions. And once you figure that out, if you are faced with problems with money in the future, you already know how those scenarios are going to play out. And the best part is you can start living your life from a solution standpoint so that you don't make those same mistakes again. Okay. And for most of you, I think this will work out very well in regards to money. All right. So if, you're trying to attract a partner, okay, don't underestimate the power of just, physical attraction. It doesn't matter how attractive you are right now. The goal is to start making improvements. Okay, so that could be, just do 100 push-ups a day for 30 days and watch how much that changes. Try different diets, try cardio workouts, try new clothes, new haircut. And just making those small changes improves how you look, how you see yourself. You'll start looking in the mirror and you'll start noticing different changes in your life. And you're like, wow, you know what? I'm looking so much better. I'm feeling so much better. You'll notice, attractive girls or guys, commenting on your posts on social media, liking your pictures, wanting to be friends with you, wanting to get to know you. Like, funny things start happening when you make, small improvements, regardless of how, fat you are or how unattractive you think you look. Anything you can do to improve your appearance, your attraction, it's going to do a lot in terms of improving your vibration. Okay. So these are just some tips that I think can work very well for you guys to improve your attraction. And in conclusion, remember that attraction itself is a vibration. You got to find ways to feel better, feel like money, feel like love, feel like whatever it is that you're trying to attract. And as long as you can do that, you'll notice some big improvements in terms of the things you want coming into your life. All right. Thank you everyone for watching this video. If you like it, please like it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And thank you for checking out my channel. Have a great day.